English proficiency test. This is a very simple test. Now, a lot of people don't do that. It is just testing your listening, reading, writing. English proficiency test is not like IIT JEE or NEET examinations. My friend, it does not work like that. Hi everyone, welcome to FutureReady India, and this is the second video of my experiences series that I am sharing over here on YouTube about study in USA. Now the second video that I wanted to talk about is all about English proficiency test. There are a lot of myths or just a lot of confusion around this thing. So I thought let's talk about that for our second video. And if you haven't already watched, the first video was on the mindset that you need if you are thinking to go to USA. And I shared a lot of nitty and gritty stuff over there. So if you are interested, please do check that video out first, because that is the first video of this series. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Before we get started, do follow us on all the social media platforms. Also, please follow us on Instagram, because I am thinking to start Instagram live every week or something once we reach 1,000 followers, because without 1,000 followers, I think it does not make sense to be starting lives, because we won't really have a lot of people joining the live sessions. But if you are interested about just asking questions and stuff like that over there, then I think it will be a much better platform where we can interact in real time and I can answer a lot of questions in real time. So if you're interested in that, then please do give us a follow on Instagram, and I would really appreciate that. Also, all the links of our website, all the social media platforms and everything will be in the description. So do check that out too. And let's get started with today's video. Okay, so English proficiency test. Something that a lot of people are always confused about. So here I am to bust some myths about English proficiency test. First of all, there are a lot of English proficiency tests that you can actually give. There is IELTS, there is TOEFL, there is Duolingo, and there is PTE, and if I'm not wrong, I think these are the 4 major ones that you can give if you are going to any country outside of your own country, if your country is not English speaking country. So as most South Asian students, South Asian country residents, you do need to give these tests. So first of all, you need to understand this is a compulsory test. Getting higher in this test is not going to do you a lot of good, and getting a low is definitely going to hurt you. Let me tell you, there is a cutoff that mostly all universities have. For example, in TOEFL, the cutoff is around 70 or 80, something like that. You might need to check that out. But yeah, so this cutoff, if you are crossing that cutoff, you are well and good, because this is a requirement that the universities need you to fulfill. It's not something that shows your academic capability. So this is something that you should know first. They do not expect you to have the best English in the world. No one is perfect. It's okay if you don't get that 120 out of 120 in TOEFL. I see a lot of people stressing on the fact that you need 120. You need more than 110 in your TOEFL. Good to have, awesome to have, like more scores. Who doesn't like more scores, right? But then it's not something that you have to have, otherwise you cannot get into USA, you cannot qualify. It's nothing like that. Another thing, it is a compulsory test. It is a requirement test. You have to fulfill the requirement, and there is no university in USA who is going to accept you without an English proficiency test. If someone is telling you that they're going to accept you without an English proficiency test, it is either 2 things. One, they are going to look at your GRE English scores, or they are going to look at your SAT English scores and waive off that requirement for you. But if you are not giving if you are not giving GRE or SAT, you definitely need to give an English proficiency test. A lot of universities say that they are going to waive off your requirement based on a document that you can get from your college or your school, which says that your primary teaching method or learning method was always English. But again, there are very few universities who do these things. Even a very less universities who waive off your requirement based on GRE or SAT. So do not, I'm telling you, repeat, do not depend on these things to get your English proficiency test waived. That is the worst thing to do. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you put yourself into a case, right? You will have more options if you give the English proficiency test. So just take it as something that is compulsory for you to do and just get into doing it. a lot of people get into GRE preparation or SAT preparation before their English proficiency test. I feel English proficiency test is the first test that you should be giving, because first of all, it is very easy. If you have had English as your major language since school or in college, then it is very easy for you to crack this test. It's not that difficult. If you practice for a few days, if you practice few mock tests, you'll definitely nail it. So do not worry about that. If your English is, you're just not confident in your English, you might need to work on it a little bit, which is also fine. There are a lot of classes that help you prepare for this. There are a lot of online classes that help you prepare for this too. Even at FutureReady, we are planning to launch courses on these English proficiency tests. And if you are interested, do check out our website for that. But then that is information for another video. And so these classes will help you prepare for the test and help you get really good marks. So don't worry about that. But then just know that it is something compulsory and you have to plan and make time for it and give this test. And maybe it is a very good idea to give this test before any other test that you give. Also, when you go to give English proficiency test, no matter, I think in TOEFL and IELTS, you are allowed to put in 4 universities where you would like to send those scores for free. Now, a lot of people don't do this. As I told you in the previous video too, applying to USA is a parallel process. You have to do everything parallelly. You cannot be doing your tests first, then shortlisting, then your LORs, then your application. It doesn't happen like that. It's a parallel process. You should start everything parallelly and everything should go with the flow. So this is where a lot of people get confused, and this is the point where I was confused too when I was applying for USA, because I was just like, okay, let me do my GRE first, then I'll do my TOEFL, then I'll start the application, then I'll think about shortlisting university. No, my friend, it does not work like that. You need to get into a parallel flow if you want to get this done quickly and get the stress out of your mind. So you just need to be a parallel person for this, and if you have any doubts about that, you can definitely ask us. But yeah, you should plan this out in a way that you are doing everything parallelly. Now, as I told you, English proficiency, there are 4 kinds of tests that you can give: IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo and PT. These are the 4 major ones. Among these, if you are going to USA, I would not suggest PT a lot, because a lot of universities do not accept it. It is mostly for going to Australia, as far as I know. I may be wrong, please. I may be wrong. Please do your own fact check. Also, this is an unscripted video, so I do not have the facts right here, right now. I'm just sharing my experiences and things that I know. Also, so that you know that I will be making a fully researched, proper video where I will give you details of every single test, details of how you can prepare, and resources too. So if you want those videos, then please give this video a thumbs up so that I know that people are interested in getting this kind of content too, or just leave a comment down below. So yeah, so I would not suggest PT. The biggest reason I would not suggest PT is because I have not seen a lot of universities accept this. There are definitely, don't get me wrong, there are definitely universities that accept it, but not a lot. The safer option is to go with IELTS or TOEFL. These are 2 English proficiency tests that almost every university will accept. I have not seen a university who does not accept these 2 scores, not just in USA, but in other countries too. So you will for sure know that these are tests, if I give, it will be valid for sure. And then there is one test called Duolingo. This is quite a new test, but let me tell you, most of the universities accept this. Like USA is transitioning into getting Duolingo into their system a lot. I mean, it is, if you feel that IELTS and TOEFL is too expensive, too much work to put in, then you can definitely give Duolingo. I would not tell you not to do that, because it is definitely getting standardized each day, and it is an easier test. It is much more cheaper than IELTS and TOEFL, so you can definitely go for Duolingo. It is an at-home test. You just need to give it on your system. They have mock tests on their own website. You can go practice those mock tests and give this test. If you score good enough in this, And even if there are universities who do not accept Duolingo, you can email them and tell them, I have given Duolingo and this is my score, will this be acceptable? They will definitely reply you with if this is acceptable or not, and they will definitely tell you what to do. Even if they don't have this as an acceptable thing, they might, because it is a standardized test at the end of the day, and it is getting very, very popular among students. So that was Duolingo. If you feel Duolingo is the test for you, you should definitely go for it. So there are 3 tests that I would mainly suggest. This is my personal preference and my personal choice, either IELTS, TOEFL or Duolingo. I've seen people giving all 3 and getting into the best universities possible. So why not? So this was about English proficiency test. Now, how would you prepare? How would you go about preparing for this? Now, one thing that you need to understand is English proficiency test is not like IIT JEE or NEET examinations. This is a very simple test. It is just testing your listening, reading, writing, and speaking skills, right? And your speaking skills. So all you need to know is go there, show up, and show your skills in English. I'm telling you, it's not that difficult. If you're giving an IELTS test, then your speaking test will be with a real person. So that is a little bit intimidating according to me. That is why I would suggest TOEFL and Duolingo, because at the end of the day, you're just recording yourself and submitting your answer. So that is one thing that got me intimidated personally, which is why I did not choose IELTS. And also because IELTS takes 2 days. Like, you'll go for 1 day for reading, writing and listening, and you'll go another day for speaking, which is a little more like task, a little more effort, right? But in TOEFL, you go the same day, everything will be done. Your speaking is right there. You record whatever you're supposed to speak and submit it right there. And I think Duolingo works the same. Now, let me tell you what I did. I gave my TOEFL exam. Now, I gave my TOEFL after GRE. That's what I'm telling you. This is not the best thing to do. I think you should give your English proficiency before GRE, because first of all, it's not that difficult and you'll be done in like 2 weeks. And once you're done with that, you can start applying, in fact, to all those universities that have optional GRE. So at least you get to the stage where you can start applying, which is very important. The earlier you apply, the better it is. So I would suggest giving English proficiency first. Now, I give TOEFL. I gave it after GRE, which was one mistake that I did. And then, not exactly mistake, there is no hard and fast rule when you should do what, but then preference, that's what I learned. It would be better if I gave my English proficiency first. So for my TOEFL, I just studied for 2 days because A, I am a little confident in my English, and B, I just did not feel like putting in a lot of effort because I already had put in a lot of effort into my GRE examinations. And so I was like, let's just go get it done, because my application deadlines were approaching. I was like, I just need to get it done. So that's what I did. So I booked the test and I went to the center. I gave this exam in Delhi. So I went to the the center, yeah. And then there you cannot take any electronics, gadgets or anything inside. You can take your water bottle. I think that also you have to keep outside, and when you get a break, you come out, drink water or everything and get inside. So now one thing about TOEFL that a lot of people might not know is that when you are doing your listening test, there might be people who are on their speaking test and they will be speaking their lungs out, like not lungs, this vocal cord out. So when you are doing your listening test, that is a little bit disturbing. So if you really get disturbed by being in an environment where you might not be able to focus at all, then maybe this test is not for you. I have seen a lot of people not scoring good just because there was too many people speaking in their test. Say you're in your reading section trying to read something and someone is in their speaking section and they're speaking. First of all, the test does start together, but then it depends on your speed, right? Say someone finished a 30-minute section in 10 minutes and they went on. So they will already be in the speaking section when you might still be in reading or listening section. That is why you have to be patient. A little patience is important over there. And if you are a person who cannot really focus in this kind of environment, maybe Duolingo can be a good test for you, because the proctor is online. On Duolingo, you'll sit at your home, give your test, you can be focused all time and you can score better. So if you think that is a hurdle for you, Duolingo is better. So I definitely recommend that. But my experience was that I went in for the test. I knew that this thing is going to happen. I knew that there might be people speaking when I'm doing my listening. So I had prepared for that, and I am generally a person who does not get disturbed by these things really easily. So I was focused on my work. So that's what I did. The only problem was that I had a throat ache that day, and I just had to cough a lot, and I just felt like I am disturbing other people, whereas other people were also doing whatever they needed, right? So this thought of continuously that I cannot cough a lot was really taking my focus away. So this was in the reading section. That is why I scored the least in reading section. Also, just to be very transparent and people know what my status is, let me tell you, I scored a 103 in TOEFL out of 120, which is an average score. It's not the best. It's not 120 out of 120 that a lot of people get, and it's not the worst score that you can get. I mean, if you are crossing 100, you are above average for sure. So, and there was no university where I did not meet the cutoff. So it was good. I mean, I had a friend who got 96. He also met all the cutoffs of all the universities. And that is what I'm saying. You don't need to get out of the world score to meet the cutoffs or like to apply to universities. It's usually simple. Don't stress about it a lot and don't worry about it a lot. That's what I want to say. Even in GRE, a lot of people are so concerned that I have to get more than 330 out of 340. No, man, chillax. First of all, it's an optional test in most of the universities. Even if you're giving the test, you're already ahead of a lot of people. And scoring, I mean, you don't have to score out of the world. That's just what I want to say. If you have been the topper student all your life and suddenly you are not getting 120 out of 120 in TOEFL, don't be discouraged by that. It's just a requirement test. If you get more than 90 or 80, you are good to go. Don't worry about that. Don't stress about it, and just go ahead with your application process. Because what matters the most is submitting your application as soon as possible. That is how you'll get ahead of a lot of people, because they will definitely look at all the applications in the way they were submitted, in the order they were submitted. So be mindful of that more than obsessing about getting certain marks. So that was all about English proficiency test. That was my experience, mostly how I went about this English proficiency. And also, just so that you know that it is a compulsory test, do not believe anyone who tells you that you do not need to give an English proficiency test. You do need to. You are going to a country which is an English speaking country. Everything is going to be English. So you need to have the knowledge of English. You need to be able to understand, speak, listen, and write in English. So that was all about English proficiency test. That was all about this video. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about GRE and SAT. If you are interested about that, then please do keep on watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying this series where I just speak my heart out, and as I told you, I'll be making researched proper videos on all of these topics, which you can find in a different playlist on our website. And this is just my experience video series, so I hope you're enjoying that. If you have any questions, please let us know on any of our social media channels. Definitely check out our description box for any further information, and I will see you again in the next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.